Well, gentlemen, today we are going to do a Batman villain tier list.
Kashu.
Hey, you big dumb idiot, what are you babbling about?
Well, nothing, just dreaming that I was in My Little Pony land sniffing all the wonderful pink pony hair and rainbow hair.
Well, it's time to wake up to reality, you big old creepy wrinkly old bastard. And of course you're sniffing rainbow hair. You don't think we saw you the other day at the Pride Parade, you big old creepy idiot.
Hey, you leave those people alone, do you understand? They didn't do anything to you. They're just big, beautiful rainbow alphabet people who just want to live their lives in peace and harmony.
Yeah, okay, you just keep telling yourself that, you old creepy bastard. Anyway, what kind of tier list is this again?
It is the Batman villains tier list, and we are going to rate these guys from bad to super bad to just god awful.
Well, okay, then let's get started.
Okay, well, the first one we got here is the Penguin. What do we think about this feathered foal?
Well, I for one think he's cute, almost like a Manion god, but with flippers. Not too sure what to think about the monocle, but I'd put him in okay tier.
In okay tier, Joe, are you delusional? Throw the stork all the way down to awful tier. He is a weakest villain and a nuisance at best. Besides the partial by Dan DeVito, which was pretty bad, as the Penguin has been played as a weakest fool. He uses umbrella gimmicks and is no match for Batman, not even on his worst day.
You forgot about Gotham. That show is living proof that the Penguin is a legitimate badass. He literally rose from the bottom of the underground to become one of Gotham's most powerful gangsters and most badass villain ever.
Fake news that you shouldn't even be canon. All they did was take BT and made it live action. Besides, everyone knows Jeremiah was the most badass villain in the show. True fact.
BT, are you serious? While it's true that show was definitely its own thing, it was most definitely canon. So, for that, I'm putting the Penguin mid-tier. And yes, Jeremiah was the show's most badass villain. He was essentially the show's Joker. And we are not there yet on the tier list.
Okay, fine, I'll concede with putting him in mid, but definitely still think he belongs in awful.
Thanks to something, haha, that's a joke.
You're the joke, Sleepy Joe. You can't even make it through or vent without going the wrong way or falling down on something.
But you don't, I hope you drop the soap in prison and they make you their yard, bitch.
Alright, calm down, you guys. And also, Joe, you do fall down a lot. It's actually amazing how you haven't managed to break it or something, but I digress. Next one on the list is the Riddler. Where do we put this king of the puzzle?
Now this is what I'm talking about. Such a great character and formidable foe for Batman is in almost every version of Batman except Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, which in my opinion was a huge mistake. I put the Riddler S tier, no question. He is simply tremendous.
Well, now, even though I agree, is no doubt a great character. I wouldn't exactly put him in the S tier simply because there are far much better villains that should be reserved for that spot, so for now we will put him in a tier.
Well, now I agree that the Riddler is a fantastic villain, but there is only so much you can do with the guy. As far as riddles go, it is almost impossible to come up with great ideas time and time again, so I agree with putting this guy in the tier as well.
Well, since when did this become a democracy? I strongly disagree with the both of you clans and still say he belongs in S tier, but in the interest of moving forward, I'll agree with putting him in the E tier.
Well, Donald, no one gives a flying shit what you think, so just shut up and take it like a man. Just like your time in prison when they're bending you over clapping those fattest cheeks.
You take it like a man. When, Jill, has you been over shoving?
Well, I'm going to cut you off right there before we get absolutely canceled. And now for our next villain on the list, Catwoman. I put her in the mid-tier.
Well, how are you going to put Catwoman in the mid-tier? She is absolutely stunning and cunning, can match skills with any man and can hold her own in a fight against Batman, making her the perfect foe for him. And plus to have this love-hate relationship going on with loads of sensual tension, and it really comes through in their battles.
Well, I actually agree with Zombie Joe. Over there, Catwoman is a great foe for Batman, and honestly, I can see the two working together, and if I'm not mistaken, they literally did, but I agree she should be in the B tier.
Well, I'm glad we can all agree Catwoman is in B tier or mid, as I said before. And next up is to face, I think this is not only a great villain, but also a tragic one as well.
Yes, we are all aware of the tale of Two-Face former District Attorney Harvey Dent and best friend to billionaire Bruce Wayne with dual personality disorder. who tragically gets half his face burned in acid and becomes Two-Face. He makes all his decisions with the flip of a two-sided coin, one face normal, the other scratched up.
Yes, but I think it goes much deeper than that, depending on which origin we're talking about. It is a tragic tale about a man who decides about everything, who loses not just half his face, but half his body too. A tragic accident, but also the love of his life because she can't stand his hideous face.
He's just like you, Creepy Joe. But your wife can't just stand your hideous face. She is constantly embarrassed by your stupidity and your constant senseless ramblings about nothing and continuously falling down all the time as you space out into the atmosphere. That dumbass looking look of loss and hopelessness on your face. That is why she kisses other guys and does unspeakable things to them as well. Because she can't stand the thought of your old wrinkled ball sack hitting the back of her ass. Because you can't even get it up anymore. Not to mention your constant reminder of the failure of which she married, wishing she had something better every single day as she sadly slips into a deep state of depression of having to look at your ugly old ass every single day and change your diapers, and what a disappointment you are to her and the entire United States of America.
But your Trump, at least I don't have to pay some. Who's that hush money? Because she's so ashamed that she had to fuck your ugly old orange fat ass.
All right, come down, Creepy Joe, before you have a heart attack and have to, you know what, never mind, go ahead and keep up that blood pressure and have a heart attack and die so I can't become president. Take over. At least I know where the hell I am at all times and what the hell I'm saying, and I can't put together coherent sentence.
All right, you both calm down and let's stay on task and decide where we are going to put two facts. For me, I think he's more just below mid-tier. I would say,
are you out of your fucking mind? How in the hell did you ever become president twice with that kind of incompetence? How dare you put Two-Face just below tier? Not only is he one of the best Batman villains ever, but he is one of the most complex characters in all DC Comics history. Now you put him up to be the way he belongs, or I'm going to build a wall around your house and then bomb the shit out of it.
all right, calm down, Donnie. Damn. I only put them just below my tier because there are so many villains on the list that are so much better. In fact, our next villain is going to be S tier material, but since you raised such a big stink about it, I'll go ahead and put them on B tier just to move along now. Are you happy?
Damn you, Barry, don't you dare put who I think you're going to put up next. You save him for last year. Me, and yes, I'm very happy right now, thank you.
Okay, well then up next we have Poison Ivy, which I put in mid tier. Yes, she is a very interesting character, but very limited to what she can do as far as powers go.
Well, now, wait a minute, Barry. I wouldn't be so fast as to put her in mid-tier. She is a very powerful woman, very seductive, and can kill you with just one kiss. She's teamed up with many members of Batman's Rogue Gallery's most famous one, of course, is Harley Quinn, which we haven't talked about yet.
Yes, and that's precisely her problem. She is a dimensional character with only one power, and that is the kiss of death. I mean, when you think about it, what else can she do besides throw you into a giant man-eating plant? She would have to get very close to a guard in order to lay kiss on them, or to even seduce a person just to kill them. And oftentimes we do see her teamed up with other villains, which kind of makes her a weak character, considering she could really pull off a Batman-like heist all by herself, even though we've to do so in some situations, but not always.
Well, what the heck happened there? You kind of glitched it out there at the end. And I believe you meant to say one-dimensional character. And not only that, but she is a feminist with an agenda, and I don't like that one bit. Instead of mid-tier, I'm going to have to put her in awful tier.
Wait a minute, Donald. How could you say you don't like her just because she's a feminist? That's very dimensional of you. You should do better than that. There has to be a valid point that you have to make besides the fact that she is a feminist. Her being a feminist has nothing to do with her character. I think you are 100 wrong about that. I think we need strong women villains, much like Catwoman and Harley Quinn. They make for much better stories, and they give Batman a broader challenge with much more to work with, where he has to use his brains rather than his brawn.
And how would you know anything about brains, Creepy Joe? You're much like the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz. You have no brains, and that is why you are constantly just staring into space, not knowing where you are, and falling down all the time, just as the Scarecrow did. Because without brains, he were very clumsy, much like you. As a matter of fact, do you identify as a Scarecrow, Joe?
What any of you guys say, I'm putting Poison Ivy in mid tier, and that's. But speaking of Scarecrow, he is next on our list, and he's one of the top Batman villains in my view. I'm going to have to put him in a tier because of his wonderful plots that he has done over the years, including the biggest plot of all, which was done in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy.
I identify as an elderly president for your information.
Sleepy Joe, what the hell are you talking about? That was like 2 sentences ago. We are on a different topic now. Wake up. And as far as the Scarecrow goes, yes, I'll agree he belongs in the A tier. He is one of the best villains in the Batman lore. He is the only villain to successfully scare Batman, not to mention his plot, and Batman Begins was simply tremendous.
Yes, I agree. The Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz was one of the most terrifying villains in cinematic history. The way he threw water on the witch so viciously was terrifying. I mean, what kind of person does that? That poor witch, I nearly cried watching that scene.
Sleepy Joe, you fluttering idiot. We were not talking about the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz. We were talking about the Scarecrow and Batman. And you would cry to dying witch, considering you are constantly at the end of one in the form of that Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, Creepy Joe, you're a clown, and speaking of clowns, that brings us to our next villain. Yes, gentlemen, I am speaking of then none other than the Woker's number one henchman, Harley Quinn. Where did we put her on our list?
I just so adore Harley Quinn. She is a strong, independent woman who has a tremendous sense of humor, and as far as villains is just as evil as they come also. I bet her hair smells like rainbow sherbet.
Creepy Joe, you would say her hair smells like rainbow sherbet, you creepy old fart. But yes, I will agree that she's a strong, independent woman who will get you every time with that evil smile. But also not quite independent, as we all know she would drop anything at the drop of a hat to do whatever the Joker tells her, and it's because of that I have to put her in the B list.
Yes, gentlemen, she is not independent, as she is very much attached to the Joker. He got into her head, he used psychology, she is in love with him beyond level obsession, therefore can never be a truly independent villain, and is oftentimes seen teamed up with other villains, much like Poison Ivy, which we mentioned earlier. Therefore, I have no choice but to put her in B tier. Do gentlemen agree?
Yes, I agree. I love rainbow sherbet.
Creepy Joe, you dumb shit, what the hell are you talking about now? Barry asked you if you agree that we put Harley Quinn in the B tier. You know what, fuck it, I'll just say I agree and move on. Besides, I think we are near the last one and I'm ready to go. Gordon Ramsay is cooking me pork chops, potatoes, and corn on the cob straight off the grill. It's gonna be tremendous, folks. Do you hear me? Simply tremendous.
Sometimes you like your pork chop.
Burnt on one side, fried on the other, and a little less fucking at it.
Fuck you. If you don't like my potato, you guys follow me.
Just get back in the kitchen, you bitch, before I tell your wife that you were staring at Millennia.
Well, you guys, can we get back to the tier list? We got just one more to go, the one we've all been waiting for, the one we all know, the one we've always known, the clown prince of crime himself, the Joker.
No, I didn't know that. It's about time you brought him up. For me, it's hands down a star all the way. The Joker is Batman's first and number one arch nemesis. You ask anybody anywhere, the civilized world, who Batman's arch nemesis is, and they'll tell you the Joker. He's the first major villain to appear in the comic books, and he's just simply the best, especially when he's played by Mark Hamill. From the comic books to the graphic novels, nothing beats the Joker. Simply tremendous.
I agree, tier all the way. The Joker is the most vile and most evil Batman villain ever, maybe even in the entire DC universe. For him to be anywhere else on this list would be a crying shame.
It's a crying shame the way you run the country, Joe.
Shut up, Trump, before I tell you know who that you're doing, you know the thing.
Both of you shut up and let's end this thing. I couldn't agree more. The Joker is 100 and tier villain. He is an agent of chaos. He is the anarchy to order. He is the most famous villain in comic book history. His name is just as associated with Batman as Lex Luthor is to Superman, as Skeletor is to He-Man. He is the ultimate Batman villain and possibly the ultimate villain of the entire film. And with it, gentlemen, our list is complete. How do I throw it back to you to end this thing as usual?
Well, as usual, it's been fun and it's been real, but it hasn't been real fun. But you know what is fun? It is fun to subscribe to the Hebrew channel for more awesome shit. And we'll see you guys on the next video. God bless America.
The Trump pork chops are ready. Trump, mate, you fucking donkey. No, fuck it. I'll eat these goddamn things myself so long. Bloody do.
That's all, folks.